Good morning. I'm going to do a video today in reference to the moratorium and everything that's going on in the news. Today's going to be focused on New Jersey. I want to read an article and touch on some topics so people can understand what's at stake. The title of this article is Pandemic Eviction Moratorium and Eviction Protections Changed Under New State Law. Like I said, we're going to be talking about New Jersey today. On August 4th, 2021, a new law went into effect that changes the eviction moratorium and changes the evictions for most tenants who owe rent during the pandemic. The law's effect on the eviction moratorium. In March 2020, Governor Murphy put a moratorium on evictions. Even if a landlord had a court judgment to evict a tenant or grounds to get a judgment for possession, which directs physical removal of the tenant, no tenant could be evicted as long as the moratorium was in effect, unless there was an emergency and an eviction was allowed by a judge in the interest of justice. The new law changes the moratorium. For most non-payment cases, the eviction moratorium is still in effect. For some, the moratorium has ended and evictions can proceed. Even in cases where the moratorium no longer applies, a property owner still must go through the court process to remove a tenant. Even without a moratorium, a landlord cannot simply lock out a tenant. They must file an eviction complaint with the court and obtain a judgment of possession. Only a court officer can lock out a tenant. Tenants must be given a court-issued warrant of removal at least 3 days before the lockout. It is a judgment for possession if a judgment for possession is entered against you, meaning you lost an eviction case or agreed by consent order to a judgment, your landlord can file for a warrant of removal. If the case was about something other than rent, since the moratorium has expired, the court can now issue a warrant of removal, and you may be locked out in as little as 3 days after you receive it. You may have other temporary protections, so it is important to seek legal advice if you receive a warrant of removal. Now, the New Jersey eviction moratorium, this is very important because it has very specific information that you need to look at. It protects all tenants with incomes up to 120% of the area median income from lockout due to rent until August 31st, 2021. So we're at September 3rd. So that was earlier this week. If you made under 120% of the area median income, the moratorium expired this week for you. Now it continues till December 31st for most tenants who owe rent and who are low to moderate income with incomes up to 80% of the area median income. But to make sure the protections apply, tenants must certify that their income falls below the threshold for the moratorium. The unpaid rent is due to circumstances arising from COVID-19 crisis, and they have applied for rental assistance. A new federal moratorium issued by the CDC and Prevention may protect additional people from the lockout until October 3rd, 2021. But they just changed that. The Supreme Court overturned that ruling by the CDC. So what does this mean for tenants? This means that if your income is 80% below the area median income, then you cannot be evicted for not paying rent up until December 31st. So what you need to do is find out what your local area median income is, and if you are under that by 80%, then you're protected. Once again, it's always best to seek legal advice, and if you have any further questions, you can go to my website, damonhelps.org, and we can help you as well. Thank you.